Nathan's combat class with Jason had turned dangerous. Nathan never backed out of a fight, but today was personal.
One day, I'll make your father my slave and piss on him.
And that was when Nathan lost his cool. Little did Nathan know, it was a fatal mistake.
Headmaster, stop the duel!
Nathan, yield, please! I yield.
Not enough for me.
Nathan went to the library, and as he walked there, his prying eyes searched for Jason Clay. So far, there had been no word of the bully, at least none that reached Nathan's ears. He recognized some of Clay's cronies staring daggers at him in classrooms and hallways, but had yet to glimpse the man himself. Nathan smiled. He's biding his time for a dramatic entrance. That's what I would do. While he waited in the library, Nathan practiced another Asura technique quietly. He channeled his energy into his fingers and sliced at a wooden dowel he brought for this purpose. Magical energy sliced out from his two pointing fingers and carved a thin line into the wood. Nathan cackled. He needed to go outside to practice this. It was called the razor finger. It could extend the cutting power of any object, and was the first step to eventually mastering the Asura slaying blade, a technique that couldn't just help him win duels. With such power, he could turn the tide in all-out war. A student barged into the library, sweating. Nathan recognized him immediately as Merrick Symington. Merrick rushed up to Nathan. Nathan tensed, ready to fight in case he needed to. The student held up his hands and breathed incredibly heavily.
Nathan, you have to come, quickly.
What is it?
It's Jason Clay. He's...
Nathan's eyes widened. He had a sneaking suspicion of what was to come next. What has Clay done?
He's captured Baylor Graham.
Nathan stood up from his library chair. Fury clouded his vision at the student's news.
Attacking me sideways, going for my friend instead of going for me? A coward's tactic.
Without a word, Nathan slung his bag over his shoulder and strode out of the library. Merrick Symington, the one who delivered the news, rushed behind him.
Where are you going?
To find Clay and put him in his place. The student behind him guffawed. Nathan turned, raising an eyebrow at the amused kid.
Is something funny? No, nothing. It is only... Hayfield, you know you cannot possibly defeat Jason Clay. He nearly killed you last time.
Nathan smirked mysteriously. That will be my best asset. Overconfidence has slain more warriors than battle, famine, and illness all put together. Where are they? Merrick shrugged.
How should I know?
He turned to face Merrick. Merrick, though taller and broader than Nathan, took a step back in surprise. He had never seen such determination radiating from the 12-year-old's eyes. I know this is a trap, and Baylor is the bait. An odd plan, since both you and Clay seem to think me incapable of defending myself, and you are the one to lead me into it. Merrick's wide-eyed act fell from his face like melting snow upon a furnace.
Outside the city gates. Be not too long, though. I suspect Baylor's position to become uncomfortable.
With that, Merrick rushed down a hallway. Nathan grimaced. So this is the way of Calandria. The honorable suffer, whilst the powerful and corrupt make them their toys. He rushed first to the headmaster's office. No one answered. He knocked again. A passing student shook his head. 'Tis of no use, Hayfield. The headmaster is out for the day. Nathan felt his rage burning even stronger within him. The Clays must have something to do with this. He looked out from the headmaster's office, across the school's entrance hall. Dozens of students milled about. If I am to be a hero, I cannot face my enemies unseen. Nathan puffed out his chest and bellowed to the entire group.
Students of Mystic Blades!
The whole group paused, surprised at how authoritative Nathan's voice sounded.
Jason Clay has kidnapped Baylor Graham. I will face him and set my friend free. If you wish to be witness to my vengeance, then you know who to follow.
Without elaborating, Nathan rushed out the front door. He didn't glance behind him, but he could tell from the sounds that a fair few trainees were on his heels.
What's the runt doing? Surely he knows it's a trap. Dumb kid will be slain for sure this time.
Such a lack of faith made Nathan grin to himself. They have no idea what a show they are about to see. Nathan eventually reached the woods outside Godricshall, followed by close to 50 students from Mystic Blades. En route, the students exchanged money and promises. They weren't betting on whether Nathan would live. They were betting on how soon Jason Clay would kill him. Nathan quietly activated his Asura seeing eye. The colors around him illuminated, every pigment, every pulse of life showering his vision with sparks. The first person he saw was Baylor. At least, that's who Nathan assumed it was. A burlap sack was suspended upside down from a tree. It wriggled violently, making muffled noises of protest. Nathan snarled. The dishonor of this tactic continued to stoke his fury. He looked around, piercing the foliage with his enhanced vision. There, he saw his foes, Jason Clay, along with a half-dozen cronies. A realization struck him. This ambush is not because the odds are against them. They just want to play with me. The students behind him whispered. They knew something was going to happen. Nathan smiled. If Clay and his goons want to play with me, why then, I shall play with them first. He bent down and collected several stones. He stepped out into the clearing. With his magical eyesight, he saw the bullies' tents, ready to spring out. They were waiting for him to try to free Baylor first. Instead, Nathan held his left hand up, making his palm flat. He carefully arranged the stones in a semicircle, and then, with his right hand, he flicked the stones into the bushes, one after the other. As each rock disappeared into the underbrush, Nathan heard a dull thunk, followed by a grunt of pain. Every single missile hit true, striking the unseen foreheads of Clay and his gang. Once he was out of rocks, Nathan rushed forward to Baylor. The sack containing his friend was held by a rope tied to a lower branch. Nathan took a knife and sliced the rope, while holding the other end. He slowly lowered his friend down to the ground and cut through the burlap. Baylor's arms and legs were tied at the wrists and ankles. His friend was gagged, but he looked panicked instead of relieved to see his friend. Nathan first removed the gag. Baylor spoke as Nathan sliced through his other bonds.
Nathan, run! 'Tis a trap! Nathan Hayfield!
A booming voice came from behind Nathan and Baylor. They made eye contact. Baylor was quaking with fear. Nathan winked at his friend. He stood up and turned. At the other side of the clearing stood Jason Clay, surrounded by his 6 henchmen. Those included Merrick Smimington and, to Nathan's surprise, Cedric Raven, one of the most powerful of the older students in the school. They all had bruised and bleeding foreheads. The students who followed Nathan formed a semicircle around the clearing. Some grunted in frustration, having lost the bet that Nathan would die immediately. But nobody left. They were all riveted to see what happened next.
Hayfield? Thou foul worm! You couldn't just slink away to your pigsty of a hamlet and leave fighting to the real men?
Nathan gritted his teeth. I see no real men here, unless you refer to the ambulatory chamber pots standing in front of me." Clay laughed.
You're the one who will eat my night soil today, Hayfield. So stubborn, so weak. I can see why Father said I should kill you.
Something clicked in Nathan's mind. Jason Clay had inadvertently exposed his weakness, so Nathan leaned in. "But you failed to do so, Clay. I imagine your father loved that. Perhaps he sent you to bed without supper, or maybe he called you names in front of the whole family. I imagine even your mother was ashamed of you." Jason's face reddened. Nathan grinned, relishing his foe's embarrassment. "How did you spend the last few weeks in the academy? Boasting how you could have killed me, but chose not to? How it was crueler to let me live? Poor Jason Clay. He cannot even smash a cockroach without help from his daddy."
Enough!
Jason Clay roared and rushed at Nathan. He didn't need swords to kill this upstart whelp. All he needed were his fists. Nathan nimbly dodged Jason's fists and sidestepped until he was out of the way of the infuriated bully's strikes. He called out to the crowd. "For this duel to be recognized, we need a noble witness, do we not?" The assembled students nodded, stunned. Nathan pointed toward Jason's henchman. "Will Cedric Raven be the impartial witness?" The black-cloaked boy sneered and reared himself up to his full height. "With pleasure, Hayfield." Tension laced through the crowd. They were shocked. They expected a slaughter, not a duel. Jason Clay laughed, still fuming.
"Well, Hayfield, if this is to be a proper duel, then neither wood nor fists will suffice."
He drew out a long dagger with a bejeweled handle. He leered at Nathan.
"Only steel will settle this battle."
Nathan drew out his knife, a shorter, blunter, simpler instrument than Clay's wickedly curved piece of art.
"So be it."
"Until satisfaction, then?"
"Until satisfaction."
Jason Clay lunged forward, and Nathan dodged again. He swung his knife at the exposed place where Nathan stood, but Nathan sidestepped again. The crowd watched Jason slash violently at Nathan again and again, coming close to injuring his foe with every strike, but also missing. Nathan's eyes never left Jason's. He felt power surging through his veins as his enemy screamed in impotent rage. So Nathan counterattacked. Jason Clay yelled in pain and stepped back. A line of red appeared on his cheek, blood dripping down the side of his face. He stared at Nathan in disbelief. Nathan's dagger point had the tiniest speck of crimson on it, but the 12-year-old was unspotted. Nathan raised an eyebrow. "Do you yield?" Clay lunged furiously. Nathan responded with 2 more strikes, lashing out as quick as an adder. Jason yelled in pain, clutching his arm and side, which were now marked by 2 deep slices. Nathan leapt back, avoiding Jason's blind slash. "Do you yield?"
"I will sooner slay myself."
Jason lunged again at Nathan. This time, Nathan stabbed Jason in the leg. Jason cried out and lunged forward. Nathan ducked under the blow and struck Jason in the face with the pommel of his dagger. The crowd gasped as Jason's nose broke under Nathan's strike. Jason stumbled back, clutching his face with pain. The assembled students' jaws hung agape. They could not believe what they were watching. Nathan was not only winning, but winning easily. Nathan threw his dagger into the ground. It stuck in the dirt before his foe harmlessly. Jason looked at the thrown dagger confused. He bled from his face, nose, side, arm, and leg, but was miraculously still standing. Nathan directed his next statement at Jason, but loudly, so that the whole crowd would hear.
I have now repaid thee, Jason, blow for blow, for the injuries thou didst deal me a fortnight past, though with less cruelty than thou exhibited upon that occasion. With this, I am satisfied. Art thou? My response is in my blade, you weakling. Behold my ultimate move, steel-piercing thrust.
Jason's dagger glowed red with spiritual energy as he lunged toward Nathan. The unarmed Nathan sighed.
What a boring ultimate move. Even Clay should be capable of something more impressive.
He easily sidestepped the stab and seized Jason by the wrist, twisting. Jason yelled as his wrist broke. He dropped his dagger. Before the blade could hit the ground, Nathan caught it and kicked Jason in the chest. Jason toppled to the ground. Nathan placed his knee on the bully's chest and pressed the dagger against his foe's throat.
Do you yield?
White-hot fury burned in Clay's eyes, but even he knew that he had lost.
I yield. I think the crowd heard you not.
Through gritted teeth, Clay said it again.
I yield. Louder, you craven bull's pizzle. I yield.
The whole audience assembled said nothing. They were stunned into silence. Nathan had defeated Jason without even breaking a sweat. Nathan stood up from his defeated foe and tossed his dagger to the side. He spared no words for Jason as he walked back toward Baylor and retrieved his old knife. Baylor started clapping fiercely. He cheered for his friend. No one else joined him. They were all too stunned. Jason Clay struggled to his feet. He fixed his eyes on Nathan and Baylor. Nathan had walked back to the tree to retrieve his bag, leaving Baylor in the open. Jason Clay seized up his dagger. He yelled and grabbed Baylor by the collar of the shirt.
I am not satisfied.
Before Graham could scream, Jason's dagger was at the mop-haired boy's throat. Baylor cried out as blood began to flow from his neck. In a split second, Nathan turned and threw his knife, which stuck into Jason Clay's forehead. Baylor clutched the shallow cut on his neck, and 50 students stood, unable to speak over Jason Clay's lifeless body.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.